Welcome to Real Talks with Pinks. Thank you for the love we've been receiving on the channel. Keep liking, commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Today we are not discussing a nice topic, and we are really going to discuss a sensitive topic, but we have to speak about it because it's happening in our society. We have a special guest today in Tate. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to our Real Talk viewers, and then I'll introduce the topic of the day.
Okay, my name is Mofoka, a father, a business partner, and a man. Yeah.
Okay. So I invited Entitlement to the show. We are going to speak about gender-based violence. I only invited him because in a number of posts that I've seen on social media, when someone dies and we start discussing the topic, I've seen him calling out the people who are asking, why was she killed? So I thought he would be best suited to speak on this issue. So in that day, let's get straight into it. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of the men listening to this topic are already thinking, but I'm pinky today. So the first question I'll ask, do men feel attacked in general when you talk about gender-based violence?
I think more than it's not being attacked, they feel misunderstood because of other underlying issues. Most of the time when it's being discussed, it's discussed on the face value of it. As a result, somebody has been dead. So if you're asking me, why did I kill somebody? You're putting me in a position whereby I'm already defeated. I'm a murderer. But if you were to really go deeper backwards, why would it end up where it is? Then that's where men would want to go at. But generally, men don't know how to express themselves. And sometimes when you just say, you know what, men are like this, men are trash, men are that, they just suck it up. And then they just don't want to talk about it. And then it continues happening, yeah.
And I feel like we need to talk about the issue because every other time a woman dies, we've seen since the start of this year, we usually wait for someone to die and then we start venting on social medias and we get angry, we go on the streets and then it passes. A month or two, it happens again, we start again. And I feel like that's not the solution. I feel like we should have like a discussion about this issue, women and men, because it's not only women who are affected. There's also men who feel like I am being abused, no one is saying anything.
Yeah. One thing that also the root cause of this, I actually ever since you told me about this, I did an extensive research, also because of the recent thing that happened on social media of the guy who killed the wife. It's a couple that I know closely, both of them. They were my neighbors last year. So when this was discussed and everything, I felt that, let me try to research and try to find out. Just in a nutshell, when I had a conversation with one of my colleagues, he's a guy, he's married. He was like, did you hear there's a guy who killed the wife and everything? The guy just said, this guy is as shocked as I am, but he doesn't even realize that he's the same guy as that guy who killed the wife, And if we don't go deep into that space, because all we want to do is to just correct the outcome, but we don't want to go deeper into the root cause of it, then it becomes a problem to talk about it because there's so many other things that evolve in the way. Like, for instance, women would talk in a certain way, but then that's not really the issue where the issue is. That's where the root cause is. This is whereby it's a manifesta, but it's a manifestation of a certain principles or lack of.
So do you feel like men think women influence GBV in the sense even when I look at on social media, some men will be saying, that's how you are a whole how I can bet in a little further. Those type of insensitive issues, and you're thinking, are we saying it's justified? Or because so are we saying it's justified? Because as a woman, now my first instinct because only anyone.
You see, you have heard of this probably because you're married. You've heard people saying the wives are a child to husband. And what do you do as a Christian or even as a parent in this culture, and as a Mosotho, what do you do when your child is misbehaving? You spank them, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. And that's how men think it. And this is how bad, because when you're looking at your partner as a child, then you will treat them like a child. But remember, this is an adult. Mm-hmm. So there could be some resistance that she can put, and then you'll have to beat harder. And sometimes that harder could actually mean death, So the narrative is in our culture. Because if I see you as a child and I'm convinced you're a child, I'm a father, and if I see my child misbehaving, I'll talk to them. If they don't hear, I spank them. If I see you as my partner and I see you in that light, then I'll be justified to beat you. So whatever we're trying to do as campaigns and everything, it will not help, because people are not seeing that this thing has been happening for years. Going back, you have probably, some of the viewers here could attest to this. They have seen their parents beat their mother. I have seen my dad beat my mother. And it didn't look so bad. It didn't become a big issue. Mm-hmm. My mom will be angry, will be sent to go and get Panado. She has a headache because she was being punched, and then after that she's okay. And then life goes on. And it's a narrative that we have adopted, and it's a culture that we have, and we underestimate the impact so much of that. And you don't see, I was not shocked when that happened. I was heartbroken because there are people that I know. I was not shocked when that happened, because I was like, there will be another one. Because this thing has been going for tens and hundreds of years going backwards. And for us to change it, one of the things that we need to do is to readdress the narrative of what is a partner. Have men in Daba. What is a woman? What is a partner? And when I say what is a partner, what is your wife? What is a wife to you? It says if men steal, and some women steal, because there are women that still believe a man should still give you a little bit spanking if you misbehave. And if that's still something, then who are you as Pinky, or who are you to come and say you are wrong, where it's a person who isn't beaten and the person who's beating telling you that we're okay. This is how we solve issues.
I think this is a difficult one. I like what you're saying. You're making us understand from a guy's perspective and how society has raised men. And please don't attack the Demofish. He is generally speaking, because we want to understand, where does this thing come from? And I like your honesty, because a lot of, even the women, I still have friends who believe and ha re tsebe na kgalemelo eno e tlo fihla kae go ba bang ba hloka itse ntse o kgalemelo ba ba ntse ba dutse o re it's not a big deal ha so nkise sepetlele. But you never know na motho that day it over to which extent. Even in the circles, maybe you guys call them body boys club. There's this issues body tertiary, or maybe even in high school, I don't know. A guy will get into a club, see women, and then maybe and then they offer to buy them a drink. I've heard those situations. Hans Redefining campaign where we go into taverns just trying to understand how men think. You find that other guys are saying, is it still a societal thing, and how do we change it? That entitlement, I'll either rape you or I'll kill you, or because it's happening even in Moredula, or even in the homes. That entitlement.
Some of them, it comes from an obsession that could actually be a mental illness, or sometimes somebody who has unresolved trauma or
the childhood
issues. Because, for instance, right now, like a club scene, you buy a woman a drink. Some people have believed or have grown up believing they're worthless, and the worth they can only get as worth to them is how much they have. Or their money that they've worked hard for. So if I'm giving you the piece of my worth with a promise, you can't bullshit me with it. You need to make sure that you reciprocate what you're saying. Otherwise, it says you are disregarding the value I've given you, despite that it's just a bottle of Savannah. It's the issues, and that's where there is another issue where this thing stems from, whereby man needs to heal. They need to heal from trauma. You have seen your father beat your mother. You yourself have been beaten. You have gone through some other rejection. You have been maybe you've had a woman in your life who cheated on you or who did something for me that traumatizes you. But then you kind of like, I'll take it like a man. But then it hurts you. So whenever you see something or a similar pattern, you react angrily to it because it will take you back to where you have been in that trauma. And then you try to show it physically. I've had a case whereby I was working at the college, and then there was a student who got raped by the friend of a brother, because she asked this guy to take her to home, and then she felt like, I used my petrol, you gotta give me some, and she raped her. And then when we talked to her and everything, she kind of like, maybe it was the way I was dressing and everything, and then you don't realize that this is an entitlement that you have, that men have. And unfortunately, even women perpetuate this. They perpetuate this because one of the things that they do, and I know this is, I might get a backlash from the ladies, they perpetuate this because they know there's a burning fire outside, but they're still trying to light some cigarettes of such things. You have psychotics. We are not written, we are not labeled.
Yes.
Somebody could be nicely dressed, nicely cool, calm, charmer boy, very, very, very eloquent and everything, and then they offer you a drink and you feel like, I don't want to be rude, or what, let me just take a free drink. And then you take a free drink, and then it goes on and goes on and goes on and goes on. And then, whereas we should really be asking difficult questions, okay, if you're buying me this drink, you're not expecting anything from me, right? Yes. Then that way, at least you know that you have some form of cushion. Because unfortunately, some people really, really believe that. And I know it comes from, I don't know, maybe there's nothing that happens. There are men that really believe that. And I'll tell you this, maybe I should say, also men needs to confess some of the things so that maybe this thing could be curbed to some extent. Most of us as men, or at least from my circle, most of us, we have, when we see women, we objectify them. Most of us have done that, and we have seen them as little less of a human being. Anything that is weak is likened to a woman. You understand? You look like a girl. Don't do that. You understand? And all those things you realize, they have ingrained in how we really view women and how the women view themselves. Because if right now you start to give me a tough face, you start giving me a tough look, no, this is you can't do that to me. This is where my boundaries are. I'm going to say, well, I'm going to try to make you feel uncomfortable with that stance, And sometimes if it's inappropriate and there's nobody in the room, I'll try to kind of like show you I can do it, just to make you sure you should feel that I'm the one who's stronger than you. So it's what a lot of us have done it. Sometimes really, even married or not married, sometimes you just say, hey, who's the man in the house, And it kind of like shows you, we're just talking about how much you should spend on whatever. And then now it gets to the point of who's the man in the house, So we are raised in a community or in a society whereby you as women are not valued as much, and you guys are not valuing yourself as much, and we don't value you guys as much. And some of us, or most of us, have had some instances whereby you have used your physical given abilities that God gave you to protect those people, but you have used them against them. You have pointed at them and then say, you know what, I'm going to show you who's them. I know I have sisters. I know I've bit my sister. I've bit my both of them. We have had physical, and sometimes I feel like, who's the man in this house? Like, we're siblings here, and then you don't just and I'm going to show you who's the man, and then get them a beating. And that's wrong. But, at that time when it happens, I don't know it's wrong. For me, it's how the society solves issues. So if we were to talk about, okay, what needs to change, is to really say, this, what we're having now, is going to help for those that will be able to watch it, to say, you know what, maybe I should start to rechange my thinking and everything. But also, the change that needs to happen is, I think in controlled environments, they should start addressing it. They should be coming to the party. Things like corporates. Things like corporates should be like, you know what, if you are accused of gender-based violence, then either we fire you or we do some warning, but there should be a policy against it. There should be that, so that at the end of the day, because men have nothing to lose in this country, men have nothing to lose really much. After I kill you as my wife, I'm going to say it was temporary insanity or whatever, and then have an excuse, get a bail, and then I'm out, I'm free. I get a girlfriend, another one, I'm going to kill them again.
Sad.
It's really, really, really something, a continuing cycle. And also we should be aware that this thing is so pervasive, even to the most educated.
Yes.
I could be sitting here and say, what, this guy's talking like this. Maybe I'm beating my wife. I'm not beating my wife, but it could be somebody who can relate with me, who says, Ish, you're taking science and everything, but they are beating their wife. I've seen somebody who confessed, who is an activist against gender-based violence, who has confessed, I've slept with my wife once, and that for me was like, such confessions would help us to be able to at least remove the shame. Because one of the things that keeps us from, when you talk about, you asked me the question, the shame and attack. When you're ashamed about something,
there's a shame, and we know GBV thrives in shame.
So when you're then like, now she wants us to talk about that shameful thing. I did slap her, and then she took a sick leave. I took her to the hospital. I was sorry, but then it's a shame because this is so bad, but because you don't know that it's in you. You don't know that this thing, because you grew up in this environment that has embraced this thing, then you don't know how do you snap out of it, but then you'd rather cover it up and then say, you know what, at least I didn't kill her like that guy. At least I didn't show the blue.
Just to make yourself feel better at the moment.
You understand? And it keeps thriving. It keeps thriving. But if we really, really look about it and everything, it says that if he feels like, okay, you know what, my wife has done this to me, I really, really feel angry, and now I really, really feel bad. Or he has said some things that really make me feel bad about myself. And then he's here, and then he feels like he has to cry. It's like, yeah, man, like, it's okay, I'm sorry, man, And then pat him in the shoulder and everything, and then we can be able to have that. Because the problem with the shame is, you may find that sometimes one of the things that you're battling with, there are 10 other people around you that are battling with the same thing, but you can't talk about it because it's such a shame. I remember, just of course a bit, I remember when first we were talking about things like masturbation as boys. It was such a shameful thing. Until we learned, like, okay, everybody does it. Oh, so we can talk about it now, Okay. Hey, it was a taboo, and we are thinking, if you hear somebody like they were caught, like, no, that guy. That's the same thing right now. Right now, we are looking at that guy who killed the wife, or the one who beats their wife to the pub, or whatever. When we're looking at them and like, no. I don't know if you noticed, even in the conversation, in the comments and everything, most women are the women that are commenting more than guys. It's because the guys are ashamed. It's like, I cannot, because I don't know what that girl did. Probably I would have done the same and everything, because they feel they are not being heard. They feel misunderstood. They feel the only thing that they need to do is they should suck it up, that a woman talks back to you and everything. But they don't understand that, man, you're not just a victim. This is just a trigger. The behavior of this woman is just a trigger. There's something wrong with how you believe and how you see a woman. Because if it was another guy who did that to you, if it was another guy who did that to you, if it's another guy who told you you should shut up, you wouldn't even think of beating them. You'd be like, hey man, you don't talk to me like that. But if it's a woman, you're like, hey, beside the walls, you understand? And that in itself, it tells you that there's a problem. There's a problem with how we're up. Yeah.
No. I think in closing, I just want us to speak to the men. I mean, I brought you here to speak about this topic. I'll probably bring someone else, even though I'm struggling to find my guests, because like you're saying, I guess it's shameful. And a lot of the guys are feeling like, oh my God, I'm sorry on behalf of the guys. But in closing, I know there's an ego thing that all other guys have spoken to. So say, it's an ego thing. You grow up in Christianity in Lesotho and you are told you are supposed to be the provider. provider, you are supposed to be this. And it's not good for the men, it's not good for the women, because we see in this society it's not happening. And now men are feeling like there's no outlet to vent out. I can't provide. There are no jobs. There are no businesses. It's a problem. What do you say to the men who this thing we're doing is not helping us? And in closing, what are we saying as men who
It's not wrong in principle, it's wrong in context. I think we're just saying the half the story. If I get married to Pinky, when we use the same Bible, Pinky becomes who? My helper.
Yes.
You understand? And I'm married to Pinky and I become a helper, because I'm not going to promote, honestly, I'm not going to sit here and promote men to just be lazing around. Men needs to be really, really, really out there, hardworking and trying to find out. If I'm bringing 1,000 and you're bringing 10,000, that means I have a 10,000 help over my 1,000. You understand? That's how you should see it, as opposed to Pinky's bringing more money than me. No,
yes.
It's that. And if the narrative, the Bible, it talks about it like that, when you look at Proverbs 31, you realize that woman almost does everything. You know, you understand that, and it's the context of being a provider. It comes with there's a bravado and everything that is very toxic, that people always talk about. They would say, you know what, as a man, because you know what they want to do, they want to protect their title of being able to control everything. You understand? But if you're my partner, how lemon can work? Then we are working towards and saying, you know what, let's secure the bag, baby. Let's secure the bag and make sure that we have money, and then we can do other things, and we see that we live well. Whoever brings it, it's fine, you know. Hey, but let's secure the bag and make sure that then now I'll push my end, you'll push your end, you know, and then bring it and then see what we can do. That way, it becomes healthier, because people have been retrenched right now. So say you're a man, then you've been retrenched, but your wife got promoted instead of being retrenched. What do you do now? You know, you're going to start hereby apply and everything, and they're the one bringing the money. Should now you feel like you're less of a man and everything? No. But you see, the challenge is we always say half context, or we take things out of context and thinking, no, as a man you should be being more man. That's not biblical. You know, what it says, or what it should be is, yes, men should be providing and you should be helping. And no matter if the help is bigger than what you're bringing, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we are one, we are partners. You know, and as we are moving, you may find that, and naturally that's what happens. You may find that when a man has a good help, and you don't remind me that I'm bringing 1,000 when you're bringing 10,000. You just say, baby, how do we improve this? How do we improve this? At the end of the day, you may find that you bring the same amount of money, or he will bring more, or you may forever bring more. But then you find that the family succeed, the marriage succeed.
Yes.
That's the point. The point is not for a woman to come here and serve me for me to achieve my dreams. No.
That's true. That's also true. I think we need to heal the men. You have said it. The men need to heal. I don't know what are some of the things that they are doing to heal. I advocate for therapy. I advocate that people go for therapy, so that if you have unresolved childhood issues, you deal with them. I don't know what you guys advocate for, but you can say that in less than a minute, and then we close.
Wrap it up. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I think really it's guys, you can heal what you won't reveal. Go to the therapist. I think there should be more male therapists now than because most of them are women now. And also, guys, you have more to lose than to gain when you be a woman. That I'll tell you. And you and I'm saying no modeling, but no more also the siko and so
and the kids
basalamon and all that. You know, so you have a lot to lose so you're going to regret it and everything. So for you to not find yourselves or push to that, don't wait for the moment whereby you have to beat your wife. If you still feel like there's some issue that happened between you and Zohola, go and see a therapist, please.
This is a really difficult topic, but thank you for coming. Guys, thank you for watching. Please comment below if you know someone who has to speak up against gender-based violence. We'll be doing a series about this topic. Thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and share the video. Bye for now.